Everyone, now in this session I will explain sum number 3 of question number 5. This is the last question of exercise 14.2 and this is very interesting. This might make you confused. Why? See, again 3 terms are there. Okay, fine. So what is the first possibility that you will check? You will check that whether any common term is there, any common factor is there which is common to all the terms or not. So it's quite easily you can say that no, there is no common factor among all these 3 terms. Now what is the second possibility, as I said? So you will check it out whether it is following any identities or not. So if you really need to check out whether this following identities or not, what we do? We really concentrate on the first term and the last term, isn't it? So last term we can put it in a whole square form, and even 16 is there, that we can write 4 square, isn't it? So definitely you will come to the conclusion that yes sir, it is following some identity. But students, you are not watching this sign. You are not watching this sign. Even this sign represents also very important, because in the identity you will see that what is the formula? A square plus 2ab plus b square, isn't it? And then what is the another formula? A square minus 2ab plus b square. So in just preceding to the last term, there is no minus sign is there in any identity. Fine. So you have to be very careful with the sign. Though this 2 terms, that is the first term and the second term, can be written in the form of whole square, but this sign is a problem. So sign is not matching according to the identity. So if you see that this problem is arising, then definitely you will go with the third possibility, that is a middle term factorization. Fine. So let's go with it. So this is 6p is there, so we'll write 6p according to the first condition. What is the first condition, student? We have to find the product. Okay, so what will be the product this time? The product is 16. So you have to select 2 numbers. When you multiply those 2 numbers, you should get 16. This is the first condition that you have to fulfill. Now what is the second condition? What is the sign here? Now see, there is a minus sign. So we'll give 2 boxes. Put minus sign. Fine, you will put minus sign. Now what you have to bring after subtracting? 6. That means these 2 numbers should have a difference of 6. Fine. Now you have to check what are those 2 numbers. When you multiply, you get 16, and when you subtract them, you get 6. Now let's see the multiples of 16. Okay, so let's begin with 1. Okay, let's begin with 1. So if I write 1 and 16, okay, so 1 into 16 is 16, but 16 minus 1 is 6. No, so cancelled. The next number is 2, isn't it? That is 2 into 8 is what? 2 into 8 is 16. 8 minus 2 is what? 6. Yes sir, it is 8. So you will write 8 minus 2. Doesn't matter that you have written 2 here, so you have to write 2, doesn't matter. Okay, you just have to see the product of the 2 numbers. If it is coming 16, then you just need to see the difference between the 2 numbers should be 6. So we have learned in our junior classes that we always subtract the lower number, that is the smaller number, from the larger number. That is the reason I wrote 8 here and 2 here. So these 2 numbers are satisfying the 2 condition, that is 2 into 8 is 16 and 8 minus 2 is 6. The 2 numbers are 8 and 2. So where to put it? Obviously yes, in the place of middle term. So write it down. So p square plus 8 minus 2 this time. Okay, because 8 minus 2 is 6. That is the reason I wrote what? 8 minus 2. You will write the coefficient outside the bracket. So that is minus 16. Now what is the next thing we do? We open the bracket. That is 8 into p, 8p. We'll multiply this 2 sign. Plus minus is minus 2 into p, 2p, and then 16. Okay, now how many terms are there? 4. So what we have to do? We have to go for a grouping. So we make a group of 2. That is the first group. In the first group, there would be first term and second term, and the second group, there would be third term and fourth term. Now, what is the common factor in between first term and second term? Yes, you have guessed it absolutely right. That is p. So if you take p as a common, so p square divided by p is what? Absolutely right, students. You are going very good. That is p square divided by p is p. And if you divide 8p by p, 8p by p is what? This 2p will be cancelled and 8 will be your required answer. Fine. Now let's move on to the last 2 terms. So what you see, we should take common from both these two terms. I hope many of the students are already answering. It's quite unfortunate that I cannot hear you. Okay, so you see that we cannot take P from both the terms, as because P is only in the third term. In the fourth term there is no P. So now we have to concentrate on the numbers. So 2 is divisible by 2 and 16 is also divisible by 2. So in this case we will take 2 as a common. Fine. Now if you divide 2P by 2, this 2P will be cancelled, and what will remain inside? It is P. Now what I said before, if you find that a minus sign is there outside the bracket, then this sign will be reversed. That is, if this minus sign is there, so you will put plus sign, or if it is there, plus sign is there, then you have to write minus sign is there. In this case there is a minus sign, so I have to put a plus sign. Why? As because if you multiply this two sign, you should get this sign. Okay, that is minus plus is what? Minus. Fine, students. Now 16 divided by 2 is what? 16 divided by 2 is 8. Now it's time to check whether these two terms are carrying the same terms inside the bracket or not. So we are carrying the same terms. See, P plus 8, P plus 8. So we are moving on the same and right direction. So now what is the next thing? What is the last step that we will define? We will take P plus 8 as a common. So P plus 8 as a common. Now when we take P plus 8 common from here, what will left out? Only P will be remaining. And similarly, if you take P plus 8 common, that means if you remove it from here, then only 2 will remain. So this is your required answer, students. Okay, so this is a solution of sum number 3. And this all sums of question number 4 and 5, students, are extremely important. Please do practice, and middle term, especially question number 5, middle term factorizations, this will play a very important role in your higher classes. Fine. I repeat, if anyone feels any problem, feel free to share it in the WhatsApp group. Okay? Thank you and God bless you all.